When it comes to preventing tariffs, this is our #1 priority, and we're working at it every day. Now, we believe that diplomacy can work, and that's why we're having private conversations, and we won't negotiate on, in front of the public. We believe that our arguments are strong. I think that I've had numerous conversations where the reaction was actually very positive, but meanwhile, there's still a lot of work. This administration in the U.S. is very unpredictable, so we have to be ready and working on both fronts. Like I was saying, preventing tariffs and at the same time working on our response.
On the question of CUSMA, is your government open to renegotiating CUSMA to address some of the trade concerns President Trump has raised?
So the executive order that President Trump signed was clear, which was referring to the date of the renegotiation of CUSMA based on what's written actually in the treaty. And so in that context, we're doing two things. We're working on the executive order, which was signed, which was a study to make sure that the federal agencies in the U.S. would study the trade relationship between Canada and the U.S., and that study would be until April 1st. That was the first thing that was mentioned in the executive order. My department, Mary Ng's department, the Department of Finance are all working on that, and we're working with the ambassador to the U.S., Kirsten Hillman. The other thing that is also written in the executive order is referring to the renegotiation of NAFTA, which is in 2026. And we are also putting our teams at work to make sure that we're ready for that too. Yes, David?
Minister McGuinty, could I just ask you about Chandra area, just your colleague? Are you surprised, given what you know as the former NCCOP chair, that Mr. Aria's candidacy did not survive review by the
I don't know the details surrounding this. That's questions better put to the Liberal Party of Canada, its executive and its executive director. I saw the announcement, and I really have no other insight or comment.
Moi, j'ai un point de vue sur ce que M. Chandra avait dit au niveau du bilinguisme, et moi, je tiens à vous dire que pour moi, c'est fondamental que le prochain chef du Parti libéral puisse parler en français et en anglais. En tant que francophone, pour moi, je pense que je représente la voix des francophones au pays et nos attentes étaient extrêmement élevées et ces commentaires étaient complètement inacceptables.
Vous allez rencontrer des dirigeants, vous avez dit, européens, mexicains. Quel est l'objectif derrière ça? Est-ce que c'est de faire front commun contre M. Trump? Puis j'ai une question sur Gaza après.
OK. Donc, c'est clair qu'au cœur de mes conversations avec mon collègue britannique et mes collègues aussi européens va être la question de la réponse aux tarifs. Ça fait partie de nos conversations parce que le président Trump a parlé de tarifs pas seulement pour le Canada et les États-Unis et la Chine, mais tout au long de la campagne électorale, il a parlé des tarifs sur le monde et ça inclut nécessairement les Européens. Alors, on est très, très pragmatique. Notre approche est de pouvoir être coordonnée. On a une entente de libre-échange avec l'Europe qui est très, très importante et ça fait partie de notre vision de diversifier nos marchés. Donc, c'est pour ça que ces conversations-là vont être vraiment très importantes. So, just in English, it is clear that we have to be extremely pragmatic when it comes to working with Europeans and also with Britain, with the UK on this. President Trump has referred to using tariffs against the world in the context of the electoral campaign. And so that's why we know that in many European capitals and also in the UK, the conversation is ongoing on how to deal in terms of retaliation and what could be different responses to tariffs. So that's why it is important for us to be able to talk to these different foreign ministers. It is my job to coordinate the response. And not only that, we have a very important free trade agreement with Europe, and we want to continue to make sure that Canadians and Canadian businesses can benefit from it.
On what you just saw happen with Colombia and President Trump, where he threatened tariffs, seems to have negotiated some kind of deal, and then he promised tariffs, and then that tariff threat came off. Did you learn anything, or did the cabinet learn anything about how Trump is wielding this tariff threat right now?
For us, we're looking at what is our approach, which is basically preventing tariffs and also making sure that we're ready. And we know that President Trump is using tariffs as a way to put pressure on countries. That's what he's doing, and that will continue. Meanwhile, we have leverage. We have also different levers. We are the biggest customer to the U.S. We are the biggest customer in 36 countries, 36 states within the U.S. So there are lots of allies in the U.S. and also in Washington, and that's why we're doing the work, to make sure that ultimately we're able to get to a win-win situation. That's why we're addressing the concerns regarding the border, which is really important, and that we should never forget that this is a priority. It is a priority for us because we believe that we have to stop any form of illegal guns coming from the U.S. and also any form of irregular migration coming from the U.S. And meanwhile, we'll continue to do the work on making sure that ultimately facts prevail, particularly when it comes to the fact that the U.S. has a trade surplus with Canada when we exclude energy exports from Canada.
So Canada is willing to begin early renegotiation of CUSMA? Canada is willing to begin early renegotiation of CUSMA?
I didn't mention that. What I said is that the executive order already specifies that there is a process that prepares for eventually that renegotiation, which is set in 2026. So it's just my job, meanwhile, is to make sure that we have a good trade relationship, and we will be ready because at the end of the day, facts prevail, may be on the question of the overall trade relationship, which is through the free trade agreement, but also on preventing tariffs.
Just to clarify, are you open to reviewing this or in renegotiating it earlier, in 2025 instead of 2026? Are you open? What is the Government of Canada's position on that question?
What we learned about the CUSMA negotiation at the time was it is important to have process in place. We now have a process. The process is through the executive order, and we'll participate in that process. Thank you.
What are they looking for?
Parliamentarians who've been unwittingly or wittingly targeted by foreign interference. What do you think are the pros and cons of that coming out publicly?
I look forward to seeing what the Commissioner has to say tomorrow in her review. I'm told it's an extremely comprehensive piece of work, and it will be good. I think I hope we see a way forward pointed by the Commissioner and her team on how we can make progress with a very, very difficult situation and a very difficult phenomena. By the way, one which the United States of America is facing, which every Western democracy is facing. So I'm hoping there are many good recommendations for improvement that are forthcoming.
Quelles sont justement vos attentes par rapport au rapport de...
Ben, on verra. J'aurai la chance de lire le rapport demain matin. There are many, many good things that I think we're going to see tomorrow from this review, so I'm looking forward to it. We'll have more to say about it tomorrow. Thank you very much.
And I just, on the question of... Oui, mais un instant, ça sera pas long. So I've answered that question in French regarding Chandra Arya. What I said in French is, for me as a francophone, I thought that what he was saying regarding francophones across the country was unacceptable, and I expect the leader of the Liberal Party of Canada to be fully bilingual, because we are in a bilingual country. We are the party of official bilingualism, and it is at the core of our DNA. Thank you.
Welcome back to Canada-Wide News. And hey, quick sidebar. I've noticed a bunch of you are lurking in the shadows, uncommitted to my subscriber list. With Trudeau eyeing the internet like it's his personal playground, subscribing is your ticket to never missing the show. I'll keep you in the loop with all the updates. As always, your opinions matter, so drop your thoughts in the comments below. Now smash that like and subscribe for more impactful stories. Your engagement really changes the game.